We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Errol Spence is the better fighter between him and Terrence Crawford. Hey man, that's that kid. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing SLC. Subscribe, like, and comment. I'm the best in the business. Let's get it. Now, Abel Sanchez, former trainer of Triple G, he's trained other fighters like Murat Gassiev, and at one point he was training Joe Joyce, who just picked up. He's not training him for his last fight, but Joe Joyce definitely just picked up a very good win versus Joseph Parker. Pretty fun fight in the heavyweight division. So back to Abel Sanchez. He did a recent interview. Link is in the description. And he was asked about Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford fight. A lot of people want to know the outcome. Abel Sanchez gave his opinion. And he says, in terms of who would win, Spence Crawford, quote, "I think Spence does. When they came out the Olympics, I thought Errol Spence in the light heavyweight from back east," and he's talking about Marcus Brown. So he's saying that he looked at those two as like someone to beat. Ironically, they both work with Derek James, unless Marcus Brown left after the Beterbiev fight. So Abel Sanchez basically is saying that he's had his eye on Errol Spence for a while. Pause. Quote, "For me, I thought Spence and him were the best prospects to win a professional belt, and both of them have done that. I was real high on Errol Spence. I thought he was an exceptional fighter, and I thought his coach was a young coach on the rise, and they proved me right. I am happy to see that Errol Spence has been successful. I'm sad to see him get in that accident. I think he's got the talent and the size to beat Bud Crawford. I think Bud is not active enough. Neither one is active enough, but the other guy, Spence, has less miles on him, and he should beat Crawford. He won't stop him, but I think he'll control him from the outside. His jab will be significant. Whether Bud does go right or left-handed, I think Spence will deal with it easy. That's what makes this game so interesting. Everybody has got an opinion. We hope it's a good fight for all of us, and just stick to our predictions, because a lot of us are going to say, I knew that was going to happen. All of a sudden, you change your mind. And just like I said about Golovkin and Canelo, everybody is talking about Golovkin is going to stop him. After the fight, they said Golovkin was an old man. But I honestly think that Errol Spence is the better fighter at this stage. It's that Crawford is the smaller guy. Bud Crawford, he is a special talent, and Spence will probably move up to 154 pounds and do well. So it's a smaller guy against a bigger guy who is younger and a little bit more spirited. That's why I think Errol Spence wins. I think Bud is a little too passive in some of his fights, and I think Spence will take advantage of that, end quote. Now, I've known Abel Sanchez to say some kind of off-the-wall things, but I think this was a very level-headed breakdown. And see, this is what I've noticed in the sport of boxing, and I've been in boxing for quite some time now. When you have like a personality like an Abel Sanchez or Freddie Roach, especially like trainers like that, when they're not talking about fights that they are directly involved in, you can usually get some pretty good commentary. If they don't have any kind of like inherent bias, or they used to work with the fighter, or they currently work with the fighter, or whatever the case, you can decently, like if you look at, let's say when Mayweather and Pacquiao, before they fought, when it was just like back and forth from both sides and stuff, you would listen to some of, or at least I would listen to some of Freddie Roach's arguments and, what he was saying in his interview. And when it was regarding that fight, he was saying like foolishness about Mayweather, like Pacquiao will beat Mayweather with his eyes closed, and just radical stuff that we know he didn't believe, right? But if you ask about, like, let's say Spence Crawford, and then Freddie Roach or Abel Sanchez in this case aren't directly tied to either fighter, then that's where the more of the boxing fan, boxing trainer, former boxing, that's where it comes in, and you could tend to get a level-headed approach. So It's very hard. You know, a lot of people listen to my channel, and that has been the case for several years. We just hit over 300K. Appreciate you guys for the continued support. But a lot of people think it's easy. Anyone could just get on YouTube. Listen, I don't really know other people's style and what other people do. I just know what I do. And to be at my level and do what I do and have the accuracy rating and say things that turn up in the fight, you know, it's not as easy as some people think. And I welcome and challenge anybody. If you think this boxing is easy, give it a spin. YouTube's free. You know, you start building a following, things like that. But I don't want to get too far sidetracked. Bottom line is Abel Sanchez, I think he's being honest and he's being realistic. If you're asking him about like Golovkin, especially when he had Golovkin as his fighter, he might say some craziness about Canelo or whatever. But in this case, I think he's just being honest because he doesn't have a direct tie. And he said he's checked for Errol Spence for a while. And he says Errol Spence is the better fighter at this moment in time. Now, I think a lot of the points he brought up were very good. Like if you are picking Errol Spence Jr., the jab is certainly a weapon. Texas has some big jabs. Guys like Errol Spence. Hey, stop that cat, man down. Guys like Jermall Charlo. Big Charlo, yeah. Keep running your mouth. You know, guys like Jermall Charlo, undisputed, 154. Lines only forever, yeah. You know? And them three guys got it. They got like crazy piston-like jab, and it's a hurtful punch. And some people there's different jabs for starters, but some people use a jab to, you know, keep you off them. Some people use as a range find. I mean, there's different ways to vary the jab. These guys, all the guys I just mentioned, both Charlos, the Charlo brothers, and Errol Spence, they have a jab that will tame you and a jab that can hurt you, you know, things like that. Like Mikey Garcia was really getting busted up, and it was all fundamentally established from Errol Spence's jab. And just like people thought it was crazy when Mikey Garcia was calling out Errol Spence, you don't see that for Terrence Crawford because people rate maybe Terrence Crawford higher than Mikey Garcia. Keep in mind they fought in the amateurs as well. But here's the thing. It's still the same conundrum of a guy who really has been in the same weight classes as Mikey Garcia and is a good fighter in those weight classes and has proven to be a good fighter at welterweight as well. But he hasn't done the heavier lifting and, you know, had the names and the big marquee fights at the same points of those opponents' careers like Errol Spence. So Crawford, you know, take nothing away. He's doing his thing. But at the same time, Abel Sanchez, he's making a lot of solid points. It is a smaller guy against a bigger guy. It took years for, like, Crawford actually now looks even more like a welterweight than his Jeff Horn fight where he first moved up. He looks like he's filled out as time has went on, you know, and as he's aged, he looks like he's put on the mass better, maybe getting with snack or, you know, doing different things as his career advanced. Whatever it is, he looks like he's wearing the weight better than when he first moved up. You know, he looks like broader, wider shoulders, things like that. So I think it'll be a competitive fight and a very, very good fight. Abel Sanchez thinks Spence is the better fighter at this moment, and he can even see Errol Spence moving up to 54 and having success. Now, a quick sidebar. I got to note this because, you know, on my channel, I keep it real and I'm honest. I feel like majority of the predictions that I've seen, and a lot of you guys keep me well informed and send me interviews and whatnot, I would say most of the celebrity boxers and trainers that I've seen are certainly picking Terrence Crawford. They're like, Bud, he's too good. Bud, all stoppages. Bud, you seen how he knocked out Porter and Errol didn't. And I'm talking the likes of Roy Jones Jr. picked Crawford. Saddam Ali picked Crawford. I believe Mikey Garcia picked Crawford. And James Toney. I'm talking about great legendary fighters. Mike Tyson, I think he picked Crawford as well. So the thing that's it's almost ironic and funny to me is you finally get a few people, very few people with big names in the sport of boxing picking Errol Spence. Like I could probably count it on one hand. Tim Bradley's picking Crawford, right? But when it comes to picking Errol, the people that have been that are not, and I'm not talking about like Frank Martin or somebody, Derek James, who's directly connected. I'm talking about like freelance people that are not connected directly to Crawford or directly connected to Errol Spence. There's a handful of people, guys that I know off the top of my head. Hasim Rahman. Rahman has been adamant, and he's been like 10 toes down picking Errol Spence Jr., and so has Abel Sanchez, right? But I could think of far fewer fighters or trainers that are picking Errol Spence and comfortably picking him. Not like where they're just outright picking him and that's it. They're not saying da-da-da-da, right? And I said that to say this. With so few of the marquee names that I've seen picking Errol to win, I find it funny that some of the Crawford fans seem in the forums, in the comment section, probably in the comment section of this video, if they didn't make it to the end, you'll see people that are almost angry that Abel Sanchez or the few people are picking Errol Spence, like name calling and say, oh, you're stupid if you're picking Errol Spence. And I just find it ironic in a 50-50 type of fight like this on paper. And these same fans have no problem with the majority of boxing fans and critics and trainers picking, I think Sean Porter might have even picked Crawford, right? So it's funny to me, and it shows the real level of bias that you get in the commentary game. So it's okay if you pick Terrence Crawford to win, and you know everyone just accepts that, and not a problem. But the handful of few people like who is it, Hasim Rahman and Abel Sanchez that are picking Errol Spence Jr., it's a problem. Just look in the comment section, I promise you. And I just think that's hypocritical. So you don't have a problem with 10 to 20 trainers and former fighters and legends picking Terrence Crawford, then you can't have a problem with Hasim Rahman, Abel Sanchez, and maybe a few other people picking Errol Spence Jr. So for whatever reason, I stand 10 toes down. I feel like Errol Spence continues to get just disrespected. He just keeps getting disrespected from people in this prediction. I think this is going to be a different fight. In fact, I've been thinking about this fight more. If Crawford doesn't have a lot of success as a southpaw, I think it's going to be very hard for him to win this fight. You know, I think a lot of it is going to be dependent on if they do fight for one. But if they do fight, the success or lack thereof that he has in the southpaw stance. Because I don't think Errol has fundamentals, and he has volume, and he's a bigger guy, and he's a strong puncher that has broken guys' bone. So I don't think I don't think it would be advisable for someone to consistently and constantly switch into different positions, because you can definitely get caught in transition. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Hopefully the fight gets announced. As of me recording this video, that has not yet been the case, but we'll see. We'll see. Like Abel Sanchez is saying, we'll see what's what and who picks who and how it all plays out. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.